Let's take our Dynamesh and convert it into a subdivision mesh so that we can get higher levels of resolution for our detailing. The first thing that I'm going to do is select the top subtool in my list, and then go over to my undo history and hold Control and click on the last history state to store that in memory. Then we're going to go to ZRemesher and set our target poly count for about 20,000 polys, and then click ZRemesher. All right, here is our first level of subdivision. It's always a good idea to turn on your frames and check the topology to make sure there aren't any problems before you move on to projecting and subdividing. And everything looks pretty good. So we can move on to projecting our detail and subdividing our model up to a higher resolution. So we'll go up to Subtool and Project and click on Project History. Once we do that, we'll then subdivide our model, hitting Control D, and then click on Project History again, and continue to do this until our model is at a high enough resolution to hold the detail that we want. Each time we subdivide and project, it's going to take a little bit longer because we have more resolution to deal with. All right, so we're going to stop subdividing here because we're at about 15 million polys, and that's going to be enough to give me the kind of detail that I want. Then we'll switch over to the mandible, hold Control, and tap on the last undo history state to store that in memory. And then we'll go down to ZRemesher and set our target poly count somewhere around 15-ish. Now that we have our ZRemeshed mandible, let's go through, turn our polyframes on, and check the topology to make sure there are no issues with it before we project and subdivide our detail back into our model. We'll go up to Subtool, Project, and click on Project History, and then Control D to subdivide, click on Project History again, and repeat the process until we get a resolution that will hold the detail that we want. And finally, we will repeat the process for both sets of teeth. The last thing that I'm going to do in this chapter is create some layers to store the detail work that I'm going to be doing in the next chapters. Then I'm also going to create morph targets for each one of these subtools. This will make it easier to correct mistakes and to get my model back to this stage if I don't like an area of detail.